Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Fanatically Speaking. I'm Kent, the co-host and promoter.
I'm Loggoff, the Loggoff legend, the hater of all things social media. I'm the co-host and producer of the show.
And we are going to get into a lot of stuff. Again, NFL. We just had the divisional round, another crazy weekend of football, and now we're going to get to our conference championship picks. The coaching carousel continues, and then we got to talk about Josh Allen and some other quarterbacks, but mainly Josh Allen.
Yeah, and I think my position on Josh Allen might be a little predictable, but I mean I gotta stay true, man. You know, like I call it like I see it. So I'm curious to hear what you have to say on it, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that. I'm ready to lead off wherever you want to start.
Okay. Let's just get into the games from the past weekend real quick.
Which one was the most? So we'll exclude. Let's save the Bills game for last.
We'll save that for last.
We'll say Bills. Bills Broncos. I mean, we start Rams Bears.
Rams Bears a fine one. Yeah, like I said, I think I do want to not break down, but get into these just a little bit because I think everything that happened matters to lead up to the conference championships. So, yeah, Rams, Bears, I did get that right. I overall finished 500, thank God. I thought I was going to have a 1-3. But, yeah, snowy game, cold game, right? Maybe not snow. Was it snow? Felt like there was snow in every game.
Yeah, everywhere was icy, man.
I felt like everywhere
had the precipitation.
Yeah, so the biggest things for that game was like the Rams outlasted the Bears. It went to overtime. Rams win by a field goal. The Bears again with just unbelievable plays to even get it there. And we can talk about, that's a great play. Caleb Williams running 20 yards from the line of scrimmage and throws up basically a Hail Mary. And the Rams defender, Durant, just decided to jump 10 yards ahead instead of back where the ball was going, and his receiver, who he's defending. Kind of a really wonky, weird play. But look, it was great for TV, great for the moment. That ended up tying it. I think Caleb Williams showed again that he's going to be there, right? He's going to take the steps. We talked about him progressing to be that guy, making these plays. But then on the other side, as we said, we're going to talk about quarterbacks. Turnovers is the key to the whole weekend. And Caleb Williams.
Yeah, the turnovers were insane, and you know it'll kind of get me to my larger point later as we continue going over all the games. But yeah, I mean, it was rampant everywhere. The weather had a lot to do with that.
Sure.
Really good defense had a lot to do with that too. I'm not just going to sum it up to, it was cold and wet and icy.
No.
And it's like, no, like we've seen games where teams are able to hold on to the ball, specifically running the ball, even in inclement weather. But yeah, it was heavy turnover game. I commend guys that can throw picks and fumble and still go out there and make plays. So I want to make sure that I give Williams that credit because he put the helmet right back on and went right back out there. Like he understood the moment, and even with all that, it was only a 3-point loss. Even with all that hell and all that mayhem, they still had a chance to win it at the end. So it's yeah, I mean, it was tough to see. The turnovers were everywhere, but yeah, I mean, he's going to have to tighten that up if he wants to advance in the playoffs in the future.
Yeah, and we're going to keep saying, like I said, every game was, turnovers was the key. But like you said, yeah, you can give credit to the quarterbacks for continuing to make plays, which they should. But I think another key, like you said, you mentioned a key word, which is going to be to my big point. But yeah, defense was key as well. And when your defense is able to keep you in games, in spite of turnovers. But it's the timing of the turnovers that matter. And again, Caleb Williams, played great, shows he's next on the quarterback, in line to be the next great, good quarterback in the league. I'm going to chalk this up for Caleb Williams to just being young. First playoff experience. It is what it is. Like you said, weather, defense. I don't think the moment was too big. He made some great plays. It just happens, and it always happens to most guys in the league, especially when they're young. In the playoffs, that first time, you might get that one win, but then eventually, as it gets deeper in the playoffs, making those plays, not turning the ball over, just being a little smarter, not forcing things, and it just came back to bite him. I think other big things was Ben Johnson again, first time being a head coach. I felt like even though they ended up tying the game and it went to overtime, when it got under 3 minutes, he let a lot of time go off the clock when they were on defense. I felt like his timeouts he probably could have used a little better. And then in overtime, he didn't use a timeout at all. He didn't even use one to ice the kicker or try to ice the kicker. So
yeah, it's a lack of inexperience.
Exactly. I think he's done a great job.
I'm sorry, a lack of inexperience. It's a lack of experience, and he. The things that you need to do to tighten the game up when it's really that close.
Yeah.
And we're talking, like you said, it's a matter of crazy plays. It's fumbles. It's interceptions. It's missed tackles. It's busted coverage. It comes down to literal feet of space on the field, and all those things mattered. Yeah, calling some timeouts to ice the kicker. Who knows? Maybe it just gives you a chance to get a look at where, maybe your special teams can go out there and block the kick. Who knows?
But at least try, right?
Yeah.
I mean, normally NFL coaches
give it a shot.
Call one if they've got them to at least say, okay, we'll wait till you almost kick it, then call it, make you kick it again. I think that's just like you said, inexperience, and and then I heard they talked about all day long about him not going for two when they tied it, but. That's a risk. If you go for two in the playoffs and you don't get it and you lose by that 1 point, you'll never hear the end of it. So
never hear the end of
never
it.
Hear it. It's easy to say, you should have went for two.
Morning quarterbacks, yeah.
No,
just go for it with your season on the line, and if you miss it, it's over, and everyone points the finger at you and they want to get you out of here.
No, that's the stuff you do in the regular season. You don't do that especially when you're at home in the playoffs. You go to overtime, you have the momentum, you just tied it. I definitely don't think he should have went for two. It crossed my mind, but I don't think he should have went for two. That's really all I got on the Bears and Rams. Like I said, the Rams to me are still the most balanced team. But so that game was kind of crazy. So, like I said, had the defense, had the stuff, blah blah blah.
No, I'm with you. Which game you want to go to next?
The only other recap. This is going to be a quick one. The Seahawks beat the 49ers. The Seahawks did what?
Beat them.
That's what you do to, that's what another team in the playoffs should do to a team that is so depleted. Even though the Niners got guys back in that game, right? They got D. Winters back. They got Ricky Pearsall. So they had some guys back, but still obviously overwhelmingly still outmatched. In key positions, the Seahawks, they did what they do. Special teams, defense, and run the ball. Make sure Sam Darnold, the game is not in his hands. And that's what they did. And it worked perfectly.
Yeah, it was an ass kicking from literal kickoff to the very end.
Yeah.
I think we all kind of saw how depleted, the 49ers were. Brock Purdy in and out of the lineup all year, even though he's been playing great the last stretch of the season. It went the way that it should have went on paper.
Yes.
We knew that the Seahawks were better. We knew that they're playing in their stadium. San Francisco is a division opponent. Typically these games are more competitive, but we knew that they weren't at full strength, nowhere near it. And they were outmatched. And, the Seahawks showed that to them. I kind of feel like this is like an Indiana football team blowing teams out type scenario, because they're just it's not that they're not great, but the question is, are they really as good as what the score is indicating? And I think we'll have a lot of answers next weekend. When you see Matthew Stafford and the Rams coming to town, like it'll
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. We'll kind of see what goes from there.
Yeah, I mean, McCaffrey got banged up in this game. It just, for the Niners, I mean, like I said, call this what you want to call it, but the Eagles gave them false hope that they could actually.
Yeah, probably so. And part of me is a little happy that this wasn't, it wasn't my birds over there getting their ass whooped like this.
And the way that
that would have I would have preferred the outcome that we had, them losing to San Francisco, than for them to go all the way to Seattle to have boots in their ass.
Yeah,
part of me is kind of glad that this happened to San Francisco.
Yeah, with the way the Eagles' offense was going, there's no way they would have done anything against Seattle's defense.
Yeah, it would have been a tough one.
That's us.
It would have been hard to watch.
That's called us being honest about it.
Yeah, I gotta be.
All right, so
Texans Patriots.
Texans Patriots. This game was exactly. Now I got the pick wrong, but it was exactly what we talked about. Two great defenses going against each other, and the quarterbacks. It was going to be the turnover, like you said, similar but not similar, right? And at the end of the day, Drake May made the plays. Obviously, home field helped him. He made more touchdowns than turnovers, but he had 3 turnovers. C.J. Stroud was giving away, like I said, like Oprah, giving away cars. He was just, like I said, 4 in the first half. But I could tell, this is the thing, man. Like, I like C.J. Stroud, and people can say, oh, he's been worse since his first year. And, again, when you're that good your rookie year, you're going to have a downfall. He can still play. Whatever was going on yesterday, he had his Jake Delhomme game, as we always bring up when you give up a lot of interceptions in the playoffs in a game.
Yeah.
He had his game. I mean, the very first throw wasn't even close, and the guy was wide open. So he had some drops. One pick was on the receiver, hit his hands. But he never looked right the entire game. But, again, that goes back to that defense we talked about. We talked about that with the Rams and the Bears. You talked about it being close. I mean, the Bears were in the game even though the turnovers, right? The Texans were still in this game because of their defense. In spite of the turnovers by C.J. Stroud, their defense, they did all they could as long as they could, right? The pick 6 really hurt them because that's a defensive touchdown. And that ultimately made that, when the Patriots did score on offense, made that deficit wider. And, again, the weather and things like that. And, there's questions about D'Amico Ryans punting with, down and then the Patriots, they burned about, 6 or 7 minutes off the clock, more in the fourth quarter. But either way, that didn't lose it for them or anything. But there's always those calls but at the end of the day, like I said, the weather, but it was, I think, still what we thought it was, even though we didn't get the winner right. And I'll say my part and let you talk. I will say now that the Patriots and Drake May are for real.
I'm not gonna go that far. I saw Drake May play a similar game to C.J. Stroud, just with a better team and system around him. To me, they were pretty neck and neck in terms of quarterbacks. And the one thing I'm going to say, and I know we've been talking about defenses for the last couple of weeks and just how great these defenses are in the playoffs. I'm not one of these people that like to, the defense and the defense for the Texans did a great job against the Patriots, and they did keep the lid on for as long as they could. It's also their fucking job. Like, that's what they're supposed to do.
True.
And of course, you don't want to depend on your team to score your points, your defense to score your points for you. But at the same time, it's like, that's what, if you have a good defense, like, you should be able to lean on them on a day like that where your young quarterback is struggling in the playoffs. So it just didn't work out for him. I will say that something's really telling in all this. It seems like every single game that we've spoken about, we've primarily focused on the loser as opposed to the winner and what the winners did to win. Now, maybe that's some bias because I did pick the Texans, and I think they showed that they had a legit shot. The Patriots were just able to make the big plays that they needed. This is a really non-sexy playoff run for the NFL.
Yeah.
Not a lot of sexy teams, not a lot of big names. Some nice size brands in there, but this, I don't know if this is a trend. Obviously, a lot of the bigger teams are out of the playoffs this year anyway. So, it'll be interesting to see how this goes moving forward. But if you want to transition to the other team, the last game, and I feel like we're going to focus on the Bills as opposed to the Broncos, but, let's do it.
Well, I do have one more thing on the Patriots. I did say them and Drake May for real. Well, I will say that based on their defense and some of the throws he made. Like, he made some really good throws. But you are exactly right. I did not bring up the fact that he did have 4 fumbles along with his pick, but he only lost 2 fumbles. And he leads the league in fumbles. So that is huge. It's just the Texans couldn't capitalize and recover all the fumbles. And they were all strip sacks, right? They were like, I think he had one where he ran. So you're exactly right. Like Stroud, the interceptions, you can't, when they're interceptions, they're interceptions. And like I said, one went off the receiver's hands. Drake.
Right off his hands.
And Drake May's interception was a Hail Mary at the end of the half. It is what it is, but the 4 fumbles were definitely.
And I'm just gonna say this because I think this is hilarious the way you framed it. You said Drake May fumbled 4 times, but he only lost 2 of them, which is the
50%.
Which is the. I know you didn't even do that on purpose, but that's crazy.
Yeah.
4 fumbles and you just got lucky.
He really did.
And one of them, he was super lucky because they were right there to scoop it up, and he just couldn't wrap it up.
Yeah, and that tells the difference of that game.
That's my point.
If they do, like you said,
it all comes down to one play, that possession. And by the way, if I'm not mistaken, I hate to cut you off.
No,
if
you're
I'm
good.
not mistaken, I can't remember. I want to say it was like maybe the second or third quarter in the game. But I want to say that if the Texans would have recovered that, I want to say they would have been on their between their 20 and their 30.
Yeah.
They were right there.
Yeah.
At a minimum, it's a field goal.
Yeah.
So, you look at it, and like you said, maybe it makes the Patriots a little more conservative in their offense. Maybe they start to run the ball more.
Yeah.
Maybe they put Drake May back. He fumbles again. Who knows?
Yeah.
But like I said, one more fumble would have made all the difference in the game. Who knows?
Yeah,
man?
I think that game was way more even than people look at.
The score indicated.
Exactly. I'll point out this one stat, and then we can move on. I promise.
No, you're good. You're good. No, it was a great game, man. It was good. It was good watch.
So funny how this is. It's going to be the 15th straight year either the Patriots or Chiefs are in the AFC Championship game. So
I'm sorry. Whoa. Okay, wait. So this is the 15th straight year that one of those 2 teams are in the AFC Championship.
Which is so crazy because we get a year where the Chiefs are not in the playoffs. They're not going to be back. And the Patriots all of a sudden find themselves in it.
Are right there. And here's the other thing.
After a 6-year drought.
Maybe it just has to do with the matchup. Maybe it just has to do with the matchup in the seedings.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, even throughout those years, how many can you recall where one team eliminated the other? Because I can only think of one.
Yeah, that is true but that was pre-Mahomes where the Patriots were just making every AFC championship.
Still within the last 15 years though.
Oh yeah, and then they met and Tom Brady because of
there you go.
an offsides the Patriots beat the Chiefs.
I remember that
because he threw a pick.
I remember.
Okay, yeah. So last game, a lot to this one, I think, because I think this is going to just lead into other things here. Buffalo Bills at the Denver Broncos. The Broncos won. A lot in this game. I think decisions. I think play. Again, defense. Defense, not so much. You got 63 points combined. But on one hand, there was defense because there were turnovers again. At 4 by Josh Allen. 2 picks, 2 lost fumbles. 5 total by the Buffalo Bills. 1, by who was it? Cook. Yeah. So
Cook fumble early.
yeah, kind of same with Texans. Quarterback turns it over 4 times, and the running back Marks turned it over on the 5-yard line. There's another, just to go back to that ball game again, they were on the 5-yard line ready to score, and he fumbles on the 5. So same here with the Buffalo Bills. Again, Broncos at home played good. Bo Nix made some great plays, great throws. There's been some second guessing on coaching in this game by Buffalo with not just running out the clock before halftime instead of trying to go down. Because what did that lead to? Josh Allen scrambling, running, fumbling. Broncos get a field goal before halftime. Right after halftime, second half, another fumble, and the Broncos get another field goal. So in a span of no time, it went from a 10-10 game to a 23-10 game. But credit to Josh Allen, credit to the Buffalo Bills. They did come back, take the lead, only to finally, they end up going to overtime. And then the ref show happened.
The ref show.
The ref show happened. I like the play call by Buffalo. I'm going to get straight to it. They had the ball. Josh Allen throws it deep to Brandon Cooks. The defender, McMillan, as Cooks is catching it, kind of has a hand in there. Cooks has 2 hands on it, hits the ground, and McMillan has 2 hands on it. He's kind of on top of Cooks, I guess you can say, and then comes out with the ball. So they rule an interception. I think you maybe blink not even twice, and they've already got the ball spotted, ready for the next play. And so McDermott had to call a timeout to say, "Hey guys, are y'all going to look at that? This is kind of like a big game and a big time. This is a big play, and it's kind of a close play. Like, are y'all going to maybe do go upstairs and review this, because I'm not sure you got it right." And I don't know that they looked at it, and if they did, they barely looked. And then they just said, the call stands. What was your take on the call itself? Not so much the rush of trying to get the ball, snapped and, kind of just blow it off of like, oh yeah, that's an interception. Easy call. Here we go.
Okay, so the first thing in terms of so the pick is called. The rush up to spot the ball, I don't have a problem with. Because if that's my team, that's what I want. I don't care if we got the ball, let's get this shit going. You know what I mean? I'm not going to give you guys an opportunity to think about it. So I think there's some of that was strategic to try to make sure that that a call like that, because it's like, hey, we got the ball. There's no benefit to us to let this thing drag out. Let's just snap the ball, So I didn't have a problem with that part. The call itself, I hate to be so wishy-washy. I'm trying to remember other instances in which I've seen plays like that where the end result is an interception. But the one thing that happened is as he's coming down, going to the ground with the ball, he loses it, and then the defender gains possession of the ball, and it doesn't touch the ground. You know what I mean?
True.
It went from hand to hand. So to me, it's no different than, you stripping a running back of the ball as he cuts by you. You strip the ball right out of his hand and run back the other way for 6.
Maybe.
If the ball changes, if he made a catch and the catch was caught, so he has a catch, makes football moves, goes to the ground, loses the ball while going to the ground, and I retrieve the ball as a defender, I mean, I don't know if it's technically a fumble, but he had possession. If he truly had possession, and I have it now, all before a whistle is blown, then it's an interception. Technically,
I got you.
It's an interception.
Yeah, I think it depends on the day. I mean, I understand it. I mean, I saw the ball, once, because I think a lot of people are looking at it and they're seeing that he caught it, his knee hit, he's down, but then the ball moves. Mm-hmm. And then, McMillan gets in there with 2 hands, And as his body's hitting, it's kind of moving, and then he snatches it away. So, it's different than a running back, because a running back, if he's got it and a knee down, he's down. But receiver, when you catch a ball, you gotta, even though you catch it and your knee's down, which is the same as feet, then you have to, no matter what movements after that, you have to hold on to the ball. So it's the age old, what is a catch? All these things. I just didn't like you said, I get the Broncos wanting to hurt and spike the ball, but they're rushing against the NFL and the refs, because it's overtime. There's no challenges. Everything's got to go to the booth. And it was just kind of weird that they didn't want to really take a look at that. Because, they analyze other stuff way, way in depth, and they just didn't want to do that. So that was a huge call. Obviously, it flipped possession. And then Denver on their last, drive, they did the Dallas Cowboys' favorite play, which was, let me just throw it up and let me get a flag. And
yeah,
and I get why now, because we learned that Bo Nix broke his ankle, so he was pretty much done. And they were like, we're in desperation. And I think we were texting, and I said this about PIs now in NFL. They flip a coin. One play, there's a lot of contact, no call. The next play, there's barely contact. Now there's a call. I will say about the first PI on that drive, there was also roughing the passer. So regardless if it was PI or not, which I don't think it was, the roughing the passer would give him 15 instead of that spot. So it did matter, but and then obviously the last one, I will say that I thought it was pass interference. He got there early. But I did tell you, this makes me, again, say about, we once talked about rules we want to be changed. And this has got to be one that, because now they're, this one has got to be changed, because teams are using this as offense. Because how many times does offense get called for anything on a ball like that? Never. Very rarely do they get called for pass interference on a ball that's just thrown up for grabs. All the advantage is on the offense. The defender, again, the refs are flipping a coin. I don't like the spot foul. Just take it back, do it like college, 15 yards. But that's my take on that. What else do you have on those calls?
I thought there were a couple of calls. I have no explanation for what you just broke down.
Okay. Yeah.
And I largely agree with you. Like I don't have any opposition on it. The calls were bad, the refs were inconsistent, and with all the games except for one this weekend being so close, I think that's why it stands out so much. Because it felt like, it felt like every single game had something where it's like, wait, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
I do have a question for you, because there was something I was floored by, and I'm trying to remember who it was that made the interception.
Okay.
When an interception is made, do you not have to get both feet in bounds before going out of bounds?
You have to get both feet, or, a knee, an arm.
Okay, so one knee
counts as 2 feet.
Counts as 2 feet. Okay, all right. That's
yeah.
where I was lost.
Yep.
Because I saw one where I'm like, whoa, he only got one leg down. And it's like, oh, well, his knee, grazed the tops of the blades of the grass.
It was so close. Yeah, that was super close. I think that was the Patriot game.
It was the Pats game.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
So
yeah.
close. And I was like, man, it looked like maybe a blade of white was touching his knee, but
that's what I was thinking too. And I'm just like, wait, but this doesn't matter. He needs to have, two. So, okay, I guess it makes more sense. Again, really close called, really close call weekend. Overall, I'm going to give the refs and some of the calls that were made, I'm going to give them a B.
Yeah.
Mainly because I feel like they got them right based on what the interpretations of the rules are. I know what you're saying about the PI.
Yeah.
I hate it too, but when it works and you need it, baby.
Yeah, it's the rule. Yeah.
It's the rule.
I just don't like it. Like of all the games, that game again was close, and I felt like the refs had a hand in it. Not necessarily cheating.
Fair enough.
Just it's like I want to see the Bills and the Broncos decide this game, not the refs and their yellow flags. But but at the end of the day, the calls are the calls, and I don't think there was as we always say during a game, there's always opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to shift to just the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, if you have time.
Let's just go through yours real quick, and then I'll go through mine. And then we can close out. Yeah, I'm good. Just go through yours real quick. You're good.
All right. So just a stat. One, we do know that Josh Allen had 4 turnovers in this game. He lost in the divisional round, where there is no Patrick Mahomes in these playoffs, no Joe Burrow. Those are the last guys Patrick Mahomes has beat him 4 times, but he's always been knocked out by those guys. We all remember the overtime rule got changed because of Josh Allen. He is now 0-3 in overtime because of the new rules, and he's 0-7 in his career in overtime. I think we have to have a hard conversation about Josh Allen and the blame game on this. Ultimately, Buffalo Bills decided they would blame Sean McDermott, and they fired him today because of not winning, not just yesterday, but the last 9 seasons, not getting over the hump with a Josh Allen. The first thing that came to mind was, well, what is the general manager doing? Right? Are they making the moves necessary? Are they getting him the players? Which I still think they have a talented team. And, again, it took a crazy play like that interception to ultimately beat them. But Brandon Beane, the general manager of the Buffalo Bills, did not get fired with Sean McDermott. He actually is going to still be the GM, and he got promoted to president. So make that make sense. Go for it.
I'm not going to trash Josh Allen, and I'm not going to trash him, and I'm not going to allow it. What he's trying to do is very hard. And the crazy thing is, throughout the past week, I heard consistently people say the phrase Josh Allen with the words Superman or cape in the same sentence. He was supposed to do a lot. And look, he did not have a great game. The other thing I want to point out is that dude was banged up from the week before.
Yeah.
And we spoke about that. I think he had something to the midsection. I know he got tested for a concussion, and he also hit his hand or injured his hand in one way or another.
And his foot had been hurt since the Eagles game.
So, there you go. So he wasn't playing at 100%. And look at what the outcome of the game was. Like you said, it all came down to moments. It all came down to instances. He'll be fine. It stinks. McDermott out. Who knows who they get as coach? But I think the benefit is I feel like Josh Allen is like an elevated level of Michael Vick, where it's like you can win with him as a quarterback, but the style of play becomes a question when you get to the playoffs. And I don't know what needs to change for him as an offensive player. It's easy to say, okay, just make less mistakes. But I'm not going to – this is a loss on his record. It is what it is. He didn't get it done when all the other marquee quarterbacks weren't in the playoffs. And he was the most seasoned quarterback in all of the playoffs up until he got eliminated anyway. This isn't on him, man. And I commend him for taking the bullets and just being the dude and still out there being an MVP caliber quarterback, which is hard. He played through it, and it just didn't work out for him. But I've got nothing bad to say. I got nothing bad to say about the guy. He did everything that he could. It's not his fault. He's not Patrick Mahomes.
He's not. I'm not going to say, I'm not here to bash Josh Allen. I just think you have to have the conversation. And this will lead to another one. where we talk about quarterbacks and who gets the blame. But when you're the quarterback, you get the blame. Like,
I'm gonna say this to you, and I'm just gonna. And it was staggering. I saw it. Oh man, I saw this this morning actually. So Josh Allen has 8 playoff wins.
mm-hmm.
Out of every quarterback in NFL history who has ever won at least 8 playoff games, he is the only one to not play in a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yep.
Like staggering.
Yeah.
You know, so, and just to put it in perspective, Eli Manning has 2 Super Bowls with the same amount of playoff wins as Josh Allen has. They both have 8 playoff wins. So, I mean, and then the rest of the list is, you know, Kurt Warner, Jim Kelly, McNabb, Breeze, Russell Wilson, Jeff Rutledge. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
But some of those guys, they didn't make it to a Super Bowl, so it was.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I said, they played in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Eli only had 2.
They didn't have to win it.
Eli only went on a run twice.
There you go. And that's all it took.
Yeah, that's all it took. I just think, like I said, he's got to take some of the blame. He's the reigning MVP. Like Williams and Stroud, they're young. So we say, oh, well, they're young, they're learning. Like Josh Allen, 4 turnovers, man. That's big. Like we said, Bo Nix in this game broke his ankle. He's out the rest of the playoffs. We're going to get more into that. Again, I think Josh Allen is great, and I think he is one of the top quarterbacks in the league. That's not going to change. But there's now going to be this narrative about him. Because, again, to lose this season like this, where he lost in Denver, a young quarterback against Bo Nix, a great defense they played, great coach they played, but ultimately he didn't get it done. So that's the conversation we have to have. All right, so like I said, we were just talking about Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills, and the downfall of Josh Allen this year or this season and this playoffs. And ultimately, like we had mentioned, it led to Sean McDermott getting fired, and the coaching carousel continues. So now you have an opening in Buffalo, and you have another veteran head coach, seasoned head coach out there for a team, which makes it really interesting because I think Sean McDermott would be a great coach, I think, in Pittsburgh. I don't know about Baltimore, just because they just fired Harbaugh for not getting a talented quarterback and team to the next level. So I don't know they would go right into someone else who kind of did the same. I don't think the same as of Pittsburgh like that for whatever reason, just because they're just not as talented when you think about the big names. Even though Aaron Rodgers is a big name, he's also old. But I could definitely see him. I think he wants to keep coaching, and there's still plenty of jobs out there. And I don't think we've updated recently, but John Harbaugh is a New York Giants. He ended up in New York. Your boy Kevin Stefanski in Atlanta, which it makes me scratch my head. Let's see what else.
I told you it didn't matter what the Falcons were going to do. Like it doesn't matter. I mean, they could have, I don't know, man. They could have hired, Grimace from McDonald's to be that head coach, and they'll still have the same outcome.
Yeah, that was an odd choice to me, but maybe he'll be better there. Maybe he'll treat his quarterbacks better there. I don't know. Miami went kind of the non-sexy name, not the big name, in Jeff Hafley, the D coordinator from Green Bay. So they're going to just kind of trying to switch culture there with a up-and-coming coordinator. And then we got Tennessee. They just hired Robert Saleh, which is a great deal. I'm glad. I knew he was going to get a coaching job. I just didn't know where. And I think I mentioned before, their defense has some talent. So it's just getting everything else around Cam Ward, having a coach who's been there before. I thought Saleh did a great job in New York. And, so I like it, even though, I could have seen him really anywhere. And it looked like he wanted to kind of dodge being in the same division with the Niners instead of taking that Cardinals job, then kind of go back to the AFC and get in a division and stuff like that. that he could possibly win with the AFC South.
Yeah, the coaching carousel, as we called it, it's a lot to keep up with. There's a lot. There's no real method to the madness. It seems like teams kind of have the idea of what it is that they want to do, and if you want to be 100% honest with yourself as a sports fan, how much does coaching really matter when it comes to, having an advantage? Of course, in some instances, yes, it benefits you. But I would rather have a mid-tier coaching staff all the way around through and through than, some big name, big shot, I know it all type head coach. I'm not saying that it's an easy thing to do, but I guess to kind of hammer home what you were saying earlier about McDermott, I think the thing that kind of rattles me a little bit about McDermott is like his background was in defense. He was the defensive coach, and the Bills' defense hasn't been great under his tutelage. He wasn't the play caller type coach, but I would have liked to see him do what it is that he does best, just based on his level of expertise. He already had Josh Allen on the offensive side, and it didn't matter. Every single game that they were in the playoffs for the last 4 or 5 years, you can look it up, they were always in shootouts because their defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. So, I mean, I don't know.
That is true.
I mean, I don't know how good he's going to be anywhere else. It's like, what strength does he really bring when he doesn't have an all-world quarterback in Josh Allen, under center? So, it remains to be seen. We'll see. You touched on, the Miami hire, Harbaugh going to the Giants. I don't think they're going to make any measurable differences being head coaches next season. So I think it's, all of those places you named, who'd you name? The Giants, the Dolphins, and the Falcons. I don't think we expect anything out of the Titans.
And Titans.
Yeah, I don't think we're expecting anything. And they got a quarterback, a number 1 overall pick quarterback. But I think we're not going to expect anything from them for the next 2 to 3 seasons, and then we'll just see what they build and, what they can actually come up with.
Yeah. A couple things off of some of these recent hirings. You remember I mentioned the first week of the playoffs, and we were talking about the coaching changes. And I was after Harbaugh got fired, and I was like, watch the Packers and the Buffalo Bills, right? Those, and you can they kind of went separate with their thinking. Like, to me, LaFleur, he hasn't been there as long as McDermott, but he's also not gotten that team over the hump, and they decided that they would extend him and just keep rolling for at least whatever the extension of his contract is. Where Buffalo was just like, okay, we're done. Like, now, obviously, Josh Allen is an MVP. Jordan Love is not. He's younger. All these great things, so you can kind of see why that's the case. And I'm not mad at the Packers keeping LaFleur. But then Harbaugh, of course, jumped on the Giants, Stefanski with the Falcons, and then all of a sudden Buffalo Bills job's open. So I also wonder if Harbaugh is regretting going to the Giants, because I'm sure Buffalo would have maybe made a call. I don't think Stefanski would have been a great pick for Buffalo. You hear a lot of rumors about Belichick, and, of course, I don't know if his girlfriend likes cold weather, so I don't know if Buffalo is good. Maybe if it was Miami, I would have been like, yeah, she likes Miami, Arizona. But so that Buffalo job, like I said, it's Baltimore and Buffalo are the best jobs out there.
Yeah, it's a coveted job.
Both of them,
because you've got star MVP quarterbacks in their prime.
Yeah. I mean, you have franchise quarterback and teams that are normally in the hunt and in the running for really the Super Bowl. Like, beginning of the season, this is a weird year. Beginning of the season, who'd we name in the AFC? We said Buffalo, Baltimore, Kansas
Chiefs,
City.
Bills, Ravens. Yeah, that was what it was.
And so what we're getting is the Patriots, and now we're going to get the Broncos with Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah.
So, it's can he be Jeff Hostetler? Can he be Nick Foles for the Broncos? We'll talk about that here in a minute. But Yeah, I wonder if they have regrets, or at least Harbaugh, for that matter, regrets about jumping on that giant job, which I think is a good job. Don't get me wrong. Young quarterback, young running back, great defense, great wide receiver neighbors. So the pieces are there for them to build and not just be, but that win now team like a Buffalo is right there. The other funny story, we talked about Aaron Rodgers is going to play, retire. I saw a report where the Steelers would not be opposed to a reunion with Aaron, and it was funny that they're interviewing Big Boy Mike McCarthy because that would reunite McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh.
Reunited, man, and it feels so good.
and it won't feel so good.
Dude, I mean, listen, so I'll touch on that real quick. I think the Steelers are more looking at who they're going to hire as their head coach. I think that's what's more important for them as opposed to getting, Aaron Rodgers. I told you that dude looked gun shy. He looked afraid of defenses out there. He was afraid of the contact. So I hope that they continue those discussions, bring in a head coach, and then have those discussions so that way, he can cook with the groceries that he's going to buy, as opposed to inheriting Aaron Rodgers, who I deem one of the biggest QB headaches in recent years. He just is. And so that's one thing. But to kind of put a bow on what you were saying about Harbaugh, and I believe I sent this to you via text when kind of the news came out. What I knew was going to happen when he went to New York was that they weren't going to let him leave without some sort of an agreement on what was going to happen.
Yeah. Right.
Above, all the things that people say about New York, I've got my issues with New York as a city. But the thing about New York is that they like things big. They like big names. Remember when they signed Carmelo and it was the greatest thing ever? You bring in big name coaches, Phil Jackson got to go big. And I feel like that's what Harbaugh is in this situation. He absolutely has regrets. He's absolutely smacking his leg this morning saying, damn it, man, I should have just waited a week. But they probably gave him what he wanted, say, hey, what do you need to accept this job? They gave it to him and was like, here you go. Now, what's your excuse to say no? So
he couldn't.
He couldn't. And the job was there and available, and it was no telling what was going to happen with the Bills. So I give him credit for that. But, yeah, I mean, of course, for me, if I'm him, I would, of course, rather coach the Bills and Josh Allen. And he would have had a much longer runway in Buffalo. He could have been there a decade, being with them doing the same thing they're doing right now, which is winning at a high level and not getting over the hump. And they weren't going to run that dude out of town. They would have given him the time and patience that it needs for him to be able to kind of turn things around.
You're exactly right. And, it's funny when I was looking at all these names, I think the three big names, right? I mean, again, in the same same season, Tomlin, Harbaugh, and McDermott. That's insane to me that they're all are looking for a job, and not coaching the team that they had been at for so long.
Yeah.
But there's a reason for that.
Yeah, it is.
And I think,
if I'm McDermott, like I take a step back and just kind of wait and see where things shake out. I'm sure his agents, are working on stuff behind the scenes. But to me, when you say Tomlin and Harbaugh, to me, McDermott doesn't belong in that discussion with those other two. Still a good name.
Yeah.
But
not as long, but still
serviceable.
Again, you're talking about that. Yeah, you're still talking about either great coaches or teams that we expected to be there, and now they're not. But I think there's a reason for that. My big reason is the Kansas City Chiefs caused this. It was the effect of them not being in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think that Mahomes Chiefs not in the playoffs, not being that excuse to say we didn't get it done. Now, I know the Ravens didn't make the playoffs, but I still think I still think somewhere, somehow, some way, it all kind of trickles down to say, this was our year. We couldn't even get it done, and the best of the best are not even in it. And that also, again, not even applies to coaching, but I think, like you said, we had a discussion. Josh Allen, it applies to him too. He's got some work to do on his legacy. But yeah, the coaching, I don't really have anything else. I mean, the openings are the openings. This is like a record year, tying, for 10 coaching jobs. 4 have been filled at this moment, and then we're just waiting, to see, who's going to fall in place. But all this, as we talked about the games last weekend, all these coaching changes, some based on some of those games, leads us to the conference championships this coming weekend. So it's time for our picks. Where do you want to begin?
I mean, the easy thing to do is to start with the AFC. It's short and simple, man. The Broncos are cooked. You got Stidham at your quarterback. Their defense is great, but I don't think it's going to be enough if they can't score points. And New England, even though, Drake May wasn't stellar and he looked human, we know that offense is well balanced, and they'll be able to score and put points up, and then the Broncos are going to have to respond. I don't see them doing that. So for me, this is the Patriots Super Bowl bid to lose if they go in there and muck it up. So yeah, I mean, that's easy peasy for me. Super easy.
So it is an easy one. I look at it a couple of things. I always look at the quarterback. So obviously Drake May with his fumbles, slipping out, getting strip sacked all the time. The Broncos will get after him, and there probably will be some fumbles. It's just, do the Broncos take advantage of it against obviously now we see is a really good defense, which they have been all year in the New England Patriots. I credit that a lot to Super Bowl champion Milton Williams, but former Eagle. But also the Broncos, we saw they're not really good stopping the run. I think the Patriots, which I had said this about the Texans game too, I was like, they really just need to run the ball. Make it easier for Drake May, run the ball. I think they're going to be able to run the ball even better against Denver. Buffalo was able to run the ball. Just don't fumble. That's the key. The key is going to be turnovers again. The same thing. Defense, turnovers, and then it's going to be the same in the other game, and the big play, right? Like I said, that was the theme last weekend in the divisional was defense, turnovers, and a big play. We saw it in all the games really except the Seahawks, but I mean you could maybe say that to start the game with a kickoff return was the big play for Seattle, and then their defense and forcing turnovers in San Francisco. So yeah, those are the 3 big things, and I think it's going to continue. And unfortunate for the Broncos, they lose their quarterback in Bo Nix. I just don't see them overcoming that. Stranger things have happened, but yeah, picking the Patriots to go back to the Super Bowl again. This time, no Brady, no Belichick. We get a new breed in there. So that's AFC.
Yeah,
let's go to the NFC, and we get a nice.
Yeah, let's go where the fun is.
We get a nice division rival.
NFC Championship game, and I'm gonna put you on the spot here for a second. Just quick, yes or no? Do you know what the scores were for the 2 games that the Seahawks and Rams played this year?
I do know.
Okay.
21-19.
Correct.
The Rams.
Yes.
And then it was 38-37.
38-37
Seattle.
in OT.
Which they went for 2. Yeah.
They did go for 2, won that game.
Come back.
So
yep.
It is. So this is where the game gets interesting to me, because I think you could say that they're 2 evenly matched teams. The Rams travel well. Mm-hmm. And, clearly Matthew Stafford, MVP candidate this year.
Yeah.
I think their luck runs out this weekend, man. They were able to skate all playoffs. It's hard as hell to go on the road and win in the playoffs in the NFL in that stadium versus the Seahawks. I think it's going to be insurmountable. I do think they'll be competitive, but to stop bearing the lead, I got the Seahawks winning by a touchdown.
Okay.
They just keep the game. They keep the game close. They go up, and then the Rams come down and score, and then they just don't get another opportunity to one up Seattle in that building. 12th man, place is rocking. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks on this one.
Okay. Well,
and I'm not prisoner of the moment from what they did to San Francisco.
No,
I just think like they are going to turn it on, and they have. I'll put it like this: outside of Puka Nacua, I think that the Seahawks have way more. I think the Rams are going to have way more questions to answer about what it is that the Seahawks are going to do. The Rams are going to have to answer so many of those questions on the fly, live in the middle of the game, and I don't think it's going to be enough for them to be able to score enough points to win it at the end.
Okay. So, I've been rolling with the Rams. They've won both their games by a field goal. They're battle-tested. Obviously, Stafford, veteran, McVay, they've been there before. They've won it before. They've got a new young defense in there now. No Aaron Donald anymore. Got Puka, got Devontae Adams. Decent running game, great tight ends. And again, like every week, I go and I look and I can't, I'm such a I don't know, either I haven't learned my lesson or I always pick the road team a lot. But again, I go back to quarterback play as well. You mentioned it. Obviously, they've had really close games, 2 games decided by 3 points. They know each other. They're the top 2 teams in that division. I do still think the Rams are the most balanced team. I trust Matthew Stafford over Sam Darnold in big moments. Obviously, it took a Thursday night comeback for the Seahawks to beat them the last time. That place will be rocking. Their defense is for real. It is hard to judge off the 49er game because they did what every NFL team should have done to the 49ers in the playoffs. I don't know if Seattle can do what they did last week, where again, big play defense and keep Sam Darnold, like, don't throw a lot, so I'm going with the Rams. And again, I do believe in Sam Darnold more than I used to this year. Like, he grew on me, even though he turns the ball over a lot of interceptions. But again, you mentioned Stafford's the MVP. I think he's going to get MVP. I think we're going to get a Super Bowl between the top 2 guys going for MVP and Drake May and Matthew Stafford. Again, I've been rolling with the Rams. I roll with them until they lose, just like I did with Josh Allen. They're out, so I can't roll him anymore in the Bills. So I got to go with my other gut, my other instinct is the Los Angeles Rams. I believe will win by a field goal again in another just epic, probably an epic battle. I think it will be one of those games again. And I know Seattle's got a better defense. Better offense is the Rams, but their defense is solid. They did pretty good in Chicago outside of, jumping 10 yards ahead for that one catch. The miracle throw. So, yeah, Rams. Going Rams. We're going to get a Rams-Patriots Super Bowl. And I saw a funny thing about these picks, by the way. And it's really kind of goofy, but it was like, are you Team Mike or Team Sean? Because you've got, Sean McVay, Sean Payton, Mike McDonald, Mike Vrabel. It's kind of goofy and stupid, but, it was just funny that they have the same name. And which one are we going to get? I think we're going to get one of each. And Yeah, that'll be a good game. And I think, back to the Denver one too, by the way. I think, they're going to battle. It's just we don't know about Jarrett Stidham. We just don't know what he's going to do. Again, Jeff Hostetler did it with the Giants, but that Giants team was way better than this Broncos team. Nick Foles did it with the Eagles, and again, that Eagles team, I would say, was way better than this Broncos team. So I just don't see it happening, and just to get back to that one. But yeah, so there you go. We differ on one this week. So I think you got me last week. So this week, like I said, we're picking Patriots. I got Rams. You've got the Seattle Seahawks and Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I do. And, just to kind of, we talked about, the kickoff return for Seattle starting the game off hot. But other than that, I mean, they were just consistent.
Yeah.
A field goal, Sam Darnold throws a touchdown pass, to Njigba gets him involved, and then it's the Kenneth Walker the third show where it's like I'm just gonna rush and get these touchdowns. They were just racking up points,
and he's gonna have to do it by himself this week because Charbonnet is gone for the playoffs.
Well, and this is where I'm confident in. This is where guys make their names, right? And when you're looking at this team, you've seen like how well balanced they are.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they're going to mix it up and throw some trick plays in there. They'll probably get some of their wide receivers caught in, set up in some screens. Get Cooper Kupp going. Like they're going to have opportunities to be able to make plays, and we know that the Rams defense could be, tissue paper sometimes.
Sometimes
they can just allow teams to put up points. So I'm comfortable with my Seahawks pick, man. The Rams have been the sexy pick all year, and they have been consistent, and they have proven themselves by getting to this game. It ends this weekend.
Yeah, and I'm not mad at it. You know what I mean? But they've been producing turnovers themselves. With Bryce Young and Caleb Williams, and Sam Darnold's got some years on those guys, but his playoff experience is very limited. So,
and we know he loved to turn the ball over. So.
Okay, and again, that's what I'm saying, and he loves it. Like he's third in the league in interceptions. So,
I want to say he leads the league in turnovers.
Oh, Darnold,
like turnovers as a stat. With the fumbles as well.
Yeah, which if they would win, that would make an interesting Super Bowl with the quarterback who leads the league in fumbles lost and the quarterback who is one of the top, interception. That would be interesting. But again,
fun to see.
We shall see. That's our picks. This is another episode of Fanatically Speaking. I am Kent, the co-host and promoter.
I am Loggoff, the Loggoff legend, hater of all things social media. I'm the co-host and producer of the show. Thanks again for listening to another episode. Go through all the socials, Facebook, TikTok, IG, YouTube. Didn't forget YouTube this time.
Nope.
Like, share, subscribe, all that fun jazz. And, of course, the podcast, anywhere you can get podcasts.
Yeah.
Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, all that nonsense.
Yes. Like, share, listen. Please listen and share. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And, of course, as always, tap that app. And
tap the app.
Whatever you're tapping, listening on, tap it. And
awesome.